Hello, hello, hello. Coffee time. Again. I read the Daily Mail, so you don't have to. This broke late yesterday. For those of you who have followed in the energy crisis that's gripping, well, the UK and Europe and I think most of the world. But over here we have something called Ofgem, which is a energy regulator. Well, one of its directors has quit, Christine Farnish. She resigned because she believes that it's totally ineffective at protecting struggling households. She believes the watchdog has not struck the right balance between the interests of the consumers and the interests of the suppliers. And she's served on the Ofgem board for several years. And she told, she quoted, "I resigned from Ofgem board because I could not support a key decision to recover additional supply costs from consumer bills this winter." She believes the move will add several £100s to everyone's bill in order to support a number of suppliers in the coming months. Again, this is something we need to talk about. And again, I remember reading this article. I wish I'd have saved the article, but one of the reasons the UK energy supply industry is in the state it's in because it was allowed to run amok. It was allowed to do whatever it wanted, and there was a company that was selling turnkey energy companies to anyone who rocked up. I think all you needed was like a minimum of a 50 grand investment, something stupid like that, and you could have your own energy firm. This is why we saw a glut of small energy providers, because the reason these guys were doing it, because they take your direct debit in advance. You pay in advance for the fuel that you're going to burn, and they basically used it as a checking account, as for financial liquidity for their other businesses. And again, when costs go up, they collapsed. But guess what? Existing consumers get to pay for that collapse because it was passed on to us via Ofgem, via the daily standing charge on both the gas and electricity. Yeah, the daily standing charge for both those units have gone up to absorb all those energy companies that have collapsed over the last 5 years. And that's why the energy industry is in the state it's in. It was basically allowed to do whatever it wanted, and we get to pay. But good on Christine Farnish for having a conscience. At least there's somebody in that organisation that actually gives a damn. Thank you. What else have we got? Sorry, it's my bugbear at the moment. It's A-level results day today. Hooray! Generation COVID. That's what they're calling them. Biggest drop in A-level grades. Look, if you do well in your A-levels and you go on and do a degree, you too could end up like me. There you go. There's the warning. There's the warning. Life doesn't go how you expect sometimes. So if you do well, great. If you don't, it's not the end of the world. There you go. At the end of the day, it's just a piece of paper, and a lot of the world's millionaires haven't got degrees or A-levels, or blimey, some of them don't even have any qualifications. They just got out there and there was a standoff outside his house. The police was at his house for 30 minutes because he was armed. Yeah, this fella, they reckon, he was identified by a security guard at the Tesco's where Mr. Allen used to busk, and he reckons he was trouble. So it was just a matter of time they were going to get him. I mean, I thought if he would, he might have fled the country, but obviously he stayed in the area. But yeah, good, they got him. That's it. They got him. Oh dear. What else is there going on? Meanwhile, in Japan, in Japan, there's been a decline in young people drinking. So, in order to save the economy, it's asked the Japanese government and whatever are asking its sober youth to drink more alcohol because they want it to boost the economy. Yeah, apparently the National Tax Agency is now trying to reverse the trend of young people not drinking by launching a new competition called the Saki Viva. The contest asks people aged 20 to 39 to share their business ideas to help boost the consumption of alcohol among that age group. There you go. But they reckon that COVID has also affected the drinking habits, and with combined with an ageing population, a slump in alcohol. So help the economy, get pissed. That can't be good, can it? Is that a good thing? Talking of COVID, SNP MP Margaret Ferrier has pled guilty to breaking COVID rules. Again, she took a train from London to Glasgow whilst supposed to be shielding from COVID because I think she had it or whatnot. But yeah, she's pled guilty to it. She was supposed to be self-isolating, but she went on a little gallivant back to Westminster. Don't worry, we paid for the £175 in expenses that she claimed for her overnight stay. Those politicians everything can be done via Zoom now. I mean, the dog's moving. Don't think I'll catch it on dog cam. She's gone. She woke up. I woke her up. So that's good news, everybody. Russia's lost another one of its HQ in the Ukraine conflict. They reckon 100 were killed, including the second army commanders and 20. Did we lose connection? I was talking about the Ukraine and Russia losing another of its HQ with 100 killed, including second army officers and commanders and 20 FSB officers. What good news. So I've got to repeat myself because the internet, even though everything's connected, decides to futz out. I've got a direct line to the router and everything. I have a long cable and it does it. I don't know why. Why does it do it? My computer gets confused, I think. The Red Door nightclub, right, has been dubbed Britain's roughest nightclub. And this is what it looks like. There you go. It has no frontage. It has no windows. And it's Britain's roughest nightclub, I reckon. The Red Door in Birmingham has been the scene of shootings, stabbings, assaults and drug dealing, and the police describe it as something akin to a mafia movie. It's been operating for more than a year illegally down in Iowa. Yes, it has no planning, no licenses, no rights to sell alcohol, and it's taken them a year to close it down. But boy, it has a good sound system, doesn't it? Look at that. It has a good sound system. You're going to feel that one. I mean, how did it take them a year to close it down? But yeah, Westminster Police and Birmingham City Council built a case against the management, who only had permission to run the building as a warehouse. Took them a year. My goodness. Mind you, they had a pool table by the looks of it, so that's got to be good. The Red Door. We've got a follow-up to the story that I was talking about yesterday of the New Zealand human remains. I was describing the case of a family who'd won a lock-up, like Storage Wars. Yep. Yeah, they went to they'd gone to a storage facility. We've got more details now. We've got more details of what actually happened, because it was all a little bit, there were lots of different accounts, but yeah, some luggage was sold at a storage facility, and when it was opened, it was two bodies. They found two bodies, and they reckon the bodies were two small children, And police are still in the early stages of the investigation. Detective Inspector Tafilao Vaelu explained that the children may have been dead for a number of years, and they reckon they would age between the ages of 5 and 10. But yeah, they're doing DNA inquiries. I mean, can you imagine that? But yeah, so they were bought. The suitcases were bought here, right? At this safe storage facilities. It was an abandoned lockup, obviously, and opened at this house, which must have been a big shock for everyone involved. Yeah, the family bought the suitcase, said to unwittingly bought the bag, and in a trailer load of unowned goods. They noticed a wicked smell. And a man who worked at the crematorium said he recognised it as being a smell of human remains. I knew straight away and thought, I know where that's coming from. So even the neighbours could smell it. But there you go. It took a bit of bizarre twist, didn't it? Who wants some monkeypox news? Now remember yesterday we showed you some pictures of a fellow who had monkeypox and how it affected him. Well, this is another guy. This is a fella in Germany. He'd gone to his GP complaining with a red spot on his nose, and it was initially dismissed as sunburn, but within 3 days the skin began to dye and turn black and began to scab. And who wants to see the picture? Mrs., if you're eating your sandwich, you might want to put it down. Are you ready? Because it's not a pretty sight. That's how it ended up. His nose started to rot off because the patient had untreated HIV as well, and he was immunocompromised. He claimed he'd never had an STI before and never had any tests, so he was completely unaware that he was HIV positive. And he also had undiagnosed syphilis. I mean, he was a walking petri dish, wasn't he? So yeah, now they reckon his nose is going to fall off because he's got necrosis of his nose. That's not good, is it? It's not good. Who wants some rock and roll news? This is the story of Andrew Ridley. Let's pull him up. This is rock and roll news. Let's have a look at Andrew. And he looks all right. He looks like a sensible fella, isn't he? There he is. Well, he's in court. Why? What's he done? Well, he was at a concert, right? He was at a concert in April the 19th, 2019. God, it was a long time ago. He was supporting Monster Truck. They're a rock band who were performing at the O2 Academy in the city. We've got a picture of them. Now these guys, they're rock and roll, aren't they? Rock and roll! And he was at this concert, and he got into a bit of an altercation, because another fellow, who is unnamed, said to him, could you move out of the way, because your bald head was shining off his head and blinded him. And they got into a fight, and Ridley beat 9 bells out of this other fella, and and he's been charged with grievous bodily harm because he knocked the fella out, and his victim suffered a bleed to the brain, all because of an innocuous comment about a shiny bald head. Use powder. Put some powder on it. There you go, and then it will never shine again. Bolo Shino. Visual gag. It's great. I can do this stuff. But yeah, the oldies, the crusties are fine. Now, again, they're both of a similar age, these two men. So yeah, don't get into a fight. Good news, everybody. It's the end of the world. Apparently Thursday, that's today. This was a story that ran a couple of days back and I missed it. Apparently There's going to be a coronal mass ejection. Wasn't that a song by Yes? It's been the sun, from the sun. It's going to be a massive eruption of gases and electromagnetic particles and whatnot. It's going to be great. A solar flare, basically. There's going to be a massive solar flare today, and it's what they call a cannibal explosion. Billions of tons of plasma and particles are going to be hurled towards the planet and could impact the planet this very day, and it could cause all sorts of issues. Electromagnetic storms, G1 minor to G2 class moderate geomagnetic storms. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, have predicted. So watch out. It's like one of those sci-fi films, isn't it? Have we got a picture of the sunspot involved? Here it is. They've marked it so we can easily see it. Look, doesn't look like much, doesn't it? You sure that's the sun and just not a fried egg? So we're doomed. We're doomed. Doomed, everybody. Who wants some nature news? This is the story of Saccharitis. It's a microscopic creature that scientists and researchers at the University of Bristol have been investigating. Its name is derived from Latin and Greek, which means wrinkly bag. There are so many jokes there, you know. But you can call it your Saccharitis now. Yeah, instead of ball bag, Saccharitis. Shall we have a look at him? Well, anyway, the reason that the scientists have been looking at this chap, he's a funny looking fellow, is he had a spiky protuberances and a rudimentary mouth, but no anus. No anus. That can't be good. And normally, these kind of creatures, they reckon, were our ancestors. The 500 million year old fossil was found in China, and it has lots of paws and spines. And I was trying to find if it was linked to us, but they found that there is no link to us. It's not a human ancestor. So there you go. And this is what it looks like. This is what the actual thing looks like. This is an electron microscopic image from the Swiss light source in Switzerland. Saccharitis. There you go. But not related. Not related at all. There's jokes in there about arseholes, I'm sure there is. But let's move on. So we've gone from something without an anus to this. This is a sports story where the anus is very important. Corey Norman has been fined, and he will miss 8 games and miss the rest of the season, for he is a rugby player. What's he been up to? He's Toulouse standoff, and he's an Australian, and he was there was an incident. There was an incident during a game last Thursday. It was a Betfred Super League defeat, and he's no longer going to be playing for the French side. And I'll pull up a picture of what happened. This is they're grappling. They're grappling. I don't know. It looks like standard kind of rugby move. But he's been punished for placing his hand between Oliver Holmes' his buttocks. Now, I don't know, it's a pretty physical sport. I mean, there's another picture here. See? I mean, they do grab your shorts and things, and it can be a little bit physical, but surely every rugby player he's been fined £500, and he's been banned. But That looks like rugby to me. It's not like he put his hand in and lost his wristwatch, is it? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he put his hands and fingers on the buttocks of Oliver Holmes. Just like, I just think the world's gone a bit crazy there. I thought that was the whole point of the game. Eh? That was the whole point of it. Oh dear. Anyway, let's go back. That was enough of the sports news. Was it the scrum? That's what they call it, isn't it? The scrum. Good news, everybody. There's a 1 in 6 chance of a massive world-altering volcanic eruption this century, and humanity's not prepared for it. Michael Cassidy, who's an associate professor at the volcanology at the University of Birmingham, told Nature, "Yeah, we really need to look at these volcanoes, because look, we've all seen those movies. We've seen those disaster movies, haven't we? Let's put up a picture of a volcano just so we know what we're all talking about. Here we go. This is a volcano. But yeah, apparently we're all going to die. I thought it was global warming. I thought well, the seas look, if the seas rise, why don't they put out the volcano? Wouldn't it put out the? No, won't it? Okay, maybe not then. There was another story. God, I've lost it now. Let me just use the search function. So go from one volcano to another. This is the story of Gil Banks. He's from Scotland. Here he is. He's looking pretty pleased with himself. What happened to Gil Banks? Well, he's in Ecuador, and he was climbing Rucu Pichincha, near the capital of Quito, and what happened to him? Well, he had an accident. What happened? He fell into a volcano. Yeah. Even though he was Scottish, he grew up in Glasgow, but he was actually Israeli, because the Israeli embassy confirmed his death. He fell into a volcano, which they describe as being one of its craters being like the underworld and a gateway to hell. I mean, that takes some doing, isn't it? If you know it looks, did he trip? Was it a Norman Wisdom style pratfall? I need to know. Look, kids, don't go near the volcanoes. Meanwhile, stupid news. 2 idiots were using their boards to go through Venice, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. You know that. The Grand Canal. And they're using, they're £20,000 each electrohydrofoils, so they're expensive gizmos. They got arrested, they got fined, and they had their hydrofoils taken away from them. So that was good. They got €3,000 fine each for endangering the safety of navigation, and they were banned from the city because you're not allowed to do stuff like that. The Italian city mayor Luigi Bruganaro, he called for the pair to be punished and offered a free dinner to anyone who identified them. It's like the mafia. And make it worth your while. He says, here are 2 overbearing imbeciles who make a mockery of the city. God, that's threatening. I ask everyone to identify and punish them even if our weapons are really blunt. We urgently need more powers to the mayors in terms of public safety. To those who spot them, I offer a dinner. I mean, that's real Scarface stuff, isn't it? Oh dear. Good news, everybody. COVID can raise the risk of dementia and psychosis. Oh boy. I'm going to show this one. This is Araya Senna, an artist from Rotterdam. She's too bloody clever. Why is that? Because she can draw with her hands and her feet. Look at that. Look at that, Verity. You can't do that. My kid's just so no talent at all. If only I had talented kids, I could have made money out of them, out of TikTok or whatnot. But yeah, she can draw four photorealistic pictures at the same time. That's not bad, is it? It's quite a talent. Though I imagine her pencils smell a bit cheesy. You know. Have we got any animal stories? I'll have to go into the folder if I can't find an animal story. Here we go. This is we're going to Cornwall, to Trelessick near Falmouth, and the public have been warned to stay away because there's a what they call a disorientated shark. There he is. He doesn't look particularly disorientated. He looks like he's just having a swim. How do they know? How do they know he's disorientated? I do not know, but here's a better picture of him. But yeah, they're warning swimmers to beware of the shark. Oh, there's an even better one there. See, if you're in calm water today, be careful. Oh, that's a lovely picture as well. Look at that. Oh, that's good, isn't it? You get some really good pictures of him. I reckon his behaviour is strange because he looks healthy, and it's unusual for them to be hanging around the coast like this. But yeah, it's a blue shark, and I just think its behaviour is a bit off. Probably because of the weather. Maybe storms out at sea drove it inland. You know, things like that. Who knows? We'll never know. Because he's not going to tell us, is he? Not going to tell us. Oh, I can't. We're going to finish on. This is the USA Mullet Championship, right? And it's the Kids Mullet Championship. We've got to finish with this. Are you ready for some of the contenders? That's pretty good. I like it. He's gone for the short sides and a long bit at the back there. Yeah, that's your more wrestler's mullet, isn't it? But he's got the shades as well. That's almost your hippie mullet, that one. Classic because he's got the bowl cut at the front. I mean, I like that one. I don't know. Surfer. He's almost a surfer. That one. I like the lightning bolt. Harry Potter mullet. You know these kids have been put up to this by their parents. This is child abuse. That's a Joe Dirt one. That's a Joe Dirt mullet. If you've ever seen that film, we got 25 pictures to get through of mullets. Just epic mullets. But yeah, in case you didn't know, they have a kids mullet championship in the US. I like his. Fantastic. Excellent stuff. What good sports. He's too cool. You can tell he's too cool to be in the mullet competition. Wow, he's got the Stars and Stripes put in his mullet. That's amazing. And there you go. So that is the mullet championship for the kids in the US. Right, I think I've done enough damage for today. Let's see if there's anybody in the chat room. There isn't. There isn't anybody in there. D. Clark says, good morning. Naz says, hey. And he's just recovering from moving house. Moving house is one of the stressful things you can do. I moved house, crikey, once in a 2-year period. 4 times. No, 5 times I moved house in a 2-year period. That was fun. You can love the caravan, yeah. Got to have a caravan. So Enter the Kingdom says, yeah, good morning. So anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed that. If you haven't, there's not a lot I can do. And that was the news. That was news. You know, killing the channel one video at a time. That was the news. You better drink it up. Thanks for watching. Ta-da!